Let's talk about the Lumix LX law of diminishing returns. Are they really diminishing returns? Okay, so I've had 4 Lumix LX cameras, LX2, LX5, LX7 and LX100 first model. So what's good and what's not? I think the big deal about the newer models, the LX100 particularly, is the big sensor and the supposed improvement in image quality. I'm sure there is an improvement, but do you notice it in everyday use? Not so sure about that, but we'll come on to that. I don't actually think you probably buy one of these or any of these LX cameras for ultimate image quality. You know, they're nothing like full frame, for example, but they are extremely versatile and they're quite small. So if I look at the LX cameras I've had and have a quick go through the pros and cons, you'll see what I mean. LX2, I have not had the LX1. LX2 I had reasonably recently, in the recent past, and the big deal about the LX2 is it is really, really small, and that's kind of a good and a bad thing. It's good in that you could actually stick that one in a fairly small pocket. I could put it in the pocket of my shorts when I was cycling, for example. Really, really tiny. I was really surprised when it arrived. I bought it from eBay, and when it arrived, and I paid £89 for the LX2, and it was virtually in mint condition. It was really, really good. So I was well pleased with that. And when I got it out of the box, I could not believe how small it really was. It is tiny, and that makes it a little bit difficult to hold on some occasions. And whilst they've made the most of the screen on the back of the camera, the LCD, it's so small. I had trouble with the font size on it, and it really meant that I was guessing aperture and things like that on occasions, just because I couldn't read the writing. It was too small. I could read it okay if I put my reading glasses on. I haven't always got my reading glasses with me when I'm out, so that was a faff. And eventually I decided that was too much of a faff to live with, so that was its downfall. It would have been okay if the camera had had the option of an accessory viewfinder, an accessory EVF, which you could plug in, which you can on the later cameras, but not that one. So, you know, if I could have brought it up to my eye and it had a diopter correction on the viewfinder, I think I'd probably still have it, but of course then it wouldn't have been so small. So, you know, swings and roundabouts really. So there was no option for accessories with the LX2, not in terms of putting accessory lenses and converters on the front, and no viewfinder. However, image quality, I thought it was really good for such a little tiny thing. Really good. So I was pleased with the camera, except that it was annoying for me to use just because of my eyesight, really. So that went. Next up, Lumix LX5, and that's not next up in terms of my chronology of ownership, because I owned that camera a while ago, but I did keep it for 11 years as my everyday carry, and that's, for me, that's a long time to keep a camera. So it was that good, and you know, it was faultless. It was really, over that period of time, it never had any problems with it. Battery life was amazing. It did 720 video, which isn't great, but then I think I recorded, I wasn't really into video then, and I think I recorded maybe 1 or 2 little clips with the video, so didn't really use it for video anyway. It's a big step up from the LX2, I think. It's got a much better screen. It does have the option of the accessory EVF, which I used. It's the EVF1, so it's not brilliant, but it's better than nothing, and it's tiltable. and of course these cameras are all fixed screen, so that was you know, that was good. Yeah, it's a big step up from the LX2, that's for sure, but it is a bigger camera, so again, swings and roundabouts. Next up, LX7, which I still have. Still got the LX7, and I had it very long actually. Again, I think this is another fair old step up. It's got a better screen on the back again. It uses the next generation of EVF as an option, which is the slightly bigger EVF2, but it's also better. It has, for those who like it, which of course I do, it has an aperture ring. Wow, that makes a difference to me. It's not a huge difference, but it does make a difference. Again, battery is really good. It has an ND filter, which has proved useful on 1 or 2 occasions, and it's just, you know, you just press a little thing on the back here to get the ND filter to come on. That's good, just a useful addition. It does 1080 video now, that's been good, and it does high speed, what you call high speed video as well, which is double frame rate, and you can slow it down for slow-mo. Double frame rate or 4 times, can't remember, but you can slow it down. Gives you, effectively it gives you slow-mo straight out of camera almost, really. I mean, it's less of a step. LX2 to LX5 I thought was a big step. LX5 to LX7, less of a step, but still a worthwhile step. One thing the LX2 had, and I believe the LX3 has, was they had a joystick on the back, a little joystick and button on the back, which I thought was good, and this doesn't have it, and nor does the LX5, and I think that's a shame, because I quite liked that. I thought it was good feature. But this is very good, and it also, you know, you can do the accessory lenses and things with a sort of a tube, which you can plug into the front, so you can do the accessory lens, screw accessory lenses on and things like that with a 52mm thread on it. So that's all good. I like that and have been experimenting. And this thing's very versatile in terms of allowing you to use accessory lenses and the like, but we'll come on to that in another video. So LX7, really good, really enjoying it. The only problem I suppose is, again, it is more expensive. I think I paid £155 for that. It's in really good condition, and I think that was probably a bit of a bargain, so I was happy with that. And then next step, which is something I just wanted to try, is the LX100, because people rave about it a bit, and I thought I should give it a try. Bigger sensor, I think this is the 4/3 sensor, so it should be good, and I think I paid $260 for this one, and again it's mint condition, and I got a bargain, I think, because they're generally quite a bit more expensive than that, but you know, you buy things at a good price when they're available. It's bigger again. It's not as, I find that when I go out walking the dog, for example, and I want something to slip into a little pouch thing on my belt, LX7 fits easily. LX100 not so much. It's tricky to get in and out of the pouch thing, so that's a bit of a downer. Aperture ring, nice. Physical dials, of course we've changed style completely now. It has the built-in EVF. It's not great, but it's better than not having an EVF at all, I think. But we've kind of changed styles, and this is more the kind of the modern rangefinder type style thing. It's got a few cons associated with it. I mean, and more of the pluses are, if you like dials and buttons, which I do, it has them for, you know, shutter speed, exposure compensation. The exposure compensation one is a big deal for me. I use that a lot. Shutter speed one, not so much, because I usually shoot aperture priority. Screen's really good, really nice high definition screen on the back of this thing. It does have 4K video. It also has a shorter zoom range. The LX7 is kind of up to 90mm effective, and this is only up to 75mm effective, but it does extend quite a long way when you switch it on. Quite smooth and quiet though in operation, which is nice. What else to say about this thing? Obviously we've gone up in price. We've gone up in sensor size. We've got an EVF. Got customizable buttons on it. It's lost in the neutral density filter, but it does have a much higher shutter speed, which kind of makes up for that, I guess. So is it worth the extra? Another thing you've lost, which might be a big deal for some people, is you've lost the built-in flash. They do give you, with the camera, a little flash you can stick on the top. I don't use flash, to be honest. I might try using it a bit more often, but I don't really use it very much. You can attach accessories again via a tube thing. This is a bit of a mixed bag. Goes on nicely enough, you know, but it makes the camera much bigger and allows 58mm filters and accessory lenses. We'll come back to that in another video because I'm doing some experimentation with that at the moment. But the good news is it is a possibility. It does have a screw thread on the front of the lens as well, but I wouldn't want to put anything other than small filters on that because I don't think that'd be a good idea. A lot of people moan about dust on the sensor with these, and I've not really done a test shot for that yet. Nothing I've noticed, to be honest. But I should do a test shot just to see. It does have a focusing ring on it as well. If you're in manual focusing, it's got a focusing ring, which is quite a nice thing. Haven't used it. I will get round to that. So yeah, is it worth the extra? It's a different sort of camera, to be honest, to the rest of the LX series. It's a different sort of camera. I'm not tempted by the LX10, which is the next step up after the LX7 really, and the reason I'm not tempted with that is because, again, there's no option for an accessory viewfinder, which I think is a real shame. Even if it was only using this, you know, this relatively old school EVF2, I think having a viewfinder for me is a big deal, particularly big just because, you know, I've got some issues with eyesight in terms of things at reading distance. I can't be the only person with that problem, I'm sure. So I think they've missed a trick there with the newer LX10, LX15 in some countries, I think. So there, with some of these images you've seen, I think certainly on screen sizes in YouTube, and even on my PC, you know, you've got to enlarge it's looking at standard PC screen size. I can't remember how big my PC screen is now, 26 inches. Yeah, you know, you probably do notice a bit of a difference in the image quality, but it's not huge. Whether or not it's worth the extra cost to get as far as the LX100 is debatable, but it's an interesting kind of an interesting experiment to follow through on. So we'll come back to these cameras again in terms of accessory lenses, as I said, and I'm enjoying using both the LX7 and the LX100 for slightly different reasons. and for me they've been worth it. And I think, to be honest, because the resale value of these is so good, you're hardly going to lose anything on them if you keep them in nice condition. You can always resell them if you don't like them or don't get on with a particular one. But at the moment I'm enjoying both of these two, and there'll be more from them in the future.